Okay, so I finally got to watch Superman on VOD. I didn't get to watch it at the cinema due to circumstances. First things first, the cast looked great, the movie looked great, you know, great camera work. I really liked the music. Of course, obviously it was Top Gun with the Superman cape, but hey, Top Gun is a good anthem. Production-wise, it was just really good. And unlike what some people like to make you believe that it's Guardians of the Galaxy with Superman, it's not. What really surprised me was the Justice League lineup. It had a bit of an X-Men First Class fight to it, and this is not because it's the same actor as that we saw in X-Men First Class, right? Though I'm pretty sure that James Gunn, he did that deliberately, but it did have that vibe to it. That was a good movie, so that kind of helped the situation for me. I especially liked the Green Lantern, you know. I never cared much for the character. I didn't like any of the movies. This is the first time I actually thought it was fun to watch his character. He seemed cocky, kind of nerdy. I think hands down the best iteration of the character so far. It was very refreshing to me because from the trailer I got a very different vibe, and when I actually saw how it turned out in the movie, it was a good surprise. And of course, let's not forget Isabella Merced. I'll be honest, it is never a punishment for me to watch her. On the contrary. Now, on to Superman himself. And this is where it gets very tricky, I think. In my opinion, Superman has always been one of the toughest characters to build a movie around. Once a character becomes too powerful, it kind of hinders the storytelling, I think. James Gunn obviously recognizes this problem, and that's why I appreciate that he started the DCU reboot with a Superman movie. He was probably like, let's just get it over with, you know, if we can make it with Superman, we can make it with anyone. He gave the character a much needed vulnerability, and rather than Superman enters the game set and match, we have a winner. We have a winner and you get your .001 odds winnings paid out. Superman is the Man of Steel, he's invincible, and that makes him just a very boring character, because let's be real, you know, if Superman exists in the same universe as other heroes, it kind of makes the other heroes feel redundant. That's why Nolan's Batman trilogy worked so well, right? Batman had limits and we didn't expect him to die, but the danger felt real. A bomb exploding or a skyscraper falling on him, it would kill him. Where Superman would just sigh and the skyscraper would move a bit to the left or to the right and kill some puppy instead of him. I'm pretty sure I'm telling you nothing new here, so let's move on. But I think for this redundancy reason, it's better to keep all these characters in their own separate universes rather than letting them team up in a movie like this. Again, I think Superman is just a boring character. You cannot really go anywhere with it, even when Christopher Nolan was involved with Man of Steel. So that said, I think James Gunn did a hell of a job here. Despite the fact the movie felt kind of scrambled, you know, a bit messy, I think it turned out to be the best Superman movie I've ever seen. And sure, I have not seen the original Superman movies in over 20 years. Pretty sure I don't need to go back and convince myself otherwise. If you think I'm wrong and I'm being a fool, please let me know in the comments, you know, it will probably hurt my feelings, but if that's what you're after, go ahead. Personally, I couldn't really get into the movie. In all fairness, I had to stop it a couple of times. The one reason I couldn't really get invested is because I accidentally spoiled one of the reveals. But that's on me, and I'm just not really into Superman and any of the characters in this movie. Doesn't mean it's a bad movie. On the contrary, I think it's a pretty good movie. For a Superman movie, it's a great movie. And as a Superman movie, I think it's just one of the best takes so far, if not the best. I'm repeating myself, aren't I? There's been a lot of negativity towards James Gunn over this movie, but I think it's unfair. Like I said before, I think this character is just hard. I mean, let's be fair, right? Superman, I think no matter how hard you try, no matter who you get to direct the movie, this character is just not an easy character to make an interesting movie for. And I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate James on a job well done. I'm giving this movie a solid 7. It's not solid enough to make me want to watch it again, but I'm not a Superman fan, right? So most of all, I just kind of hope that this doesn't mess up the DCU reboot plans, right? This was the first movie, and if this was a disappointing result, I'm kind of worried that it will mess up the plans, right? Alright, agree, disagree. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next. See ya.
Subscribe quietly or there will be trouble.